What is going on, guys? My name is Zora. Welcome back to Amorous. So today we're going to be dating we're gonna be dating Dustin. Yeah. Flipping through my contacts, I saw Dustin's name popped up. I hadn't talked to him since we met at the club. Maybe I should give him a call. Ring, 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 ring. Hey there, kid. What's up? Well, Sky, I guess. Nothing much. I just figured I should give you a call and see if you were still interested in that date. Sure, honestly, I didn't know if you were gonna call back. I did get a little handsy at the club, and it ended on an awkward note. Life gets in the way sometimes. I understand that pretty well myself. I suppose so. Still, I appreciate the slack. I thought we hit it off pretty well, all things considered. You know, if you're comfortable with it, I've got tickets to the movie tonight. I thought I had a date when I got them, but well, you saw how that worked out. The second one is yours if you're free at around 7 p.m. Sure. Sounds good. Meet you there a little before 7 then? It's a date. See ya. Well, I guess I better get ready to be seen in public. Once I've gotten my usual day stuff out of the way and dug up an outfit, I've noticed it was already getting late. Fortunately, the movie theater wasn't that far away, and the night was warm, one of the other advantages of living in a tropical paradise. Generic. We've already been to this movie before. I'm not even gonna say anything. It was nearly 7 p.m. by the time I made it to the lobby. A few people were milling about, but none of them looked like Dustin. Maybe he was running late as well. I lingered around the poster checking out the currently showed movies and persuaded the conversation when I felt a tap on my shoulder. Hey there, Fabulous. Sorry I was a little slow. The cleanup is always a pain. That's alright. I just got here a little while ago and you're the one with the ticket. Speaking of which, what movie are we seeing? The smile on his face grew as he produced the tickets from his jean pocket and handed me one. It's the Amazonian Queen. Since the big budget stuff is usually so expensive, they do a few classic movie nights a week. The tickets are a little cheaper and the movies are much better on this big screen. You're a movie buff? Didn't know that. Big time. I never miss a classic movie on the big screen. They might be from a different era, but they're still a blast to watch. Saw that old slasher film last time, and maybe it was chocolate syrup going down the drain, but it looked enough like blood to me. Guess I learned something new about him already. His eyes lit up like a child at Christmas. This wasn't just a dinner and a movie date. This was something special Dustin wanted to share. This will be my first time seeing this movie, so don't spoiler it for me. Deal, you want to grab something before the movie? I know I come here for the popcorn too. The two of us walked up to the counter and perused our options. What can I get for you? Give us just a sec to decide. Dustin turned around and smiled. What do you have? It's my treat, so don't worry about the cost. Why don't you pick something, Dustin? I'm always pretty indecisive. Like someone else to make the choices for you, huh? Dustin strode up to the counter for my benefit. Maybe there was a small desire to see that forceful, confident lion from last night guiding my decision, but I wasn't about to admit that. I'll have a giant popcorn and a box of sweets for my friend here. Giant popcorn and a box of candy? Gotcha, I'll be just a moment. Dustin paid the clerk before he turned his back to the both of us. While the clerk was busy filling up the bucket of popcorn, I felt a paw graze ever so slightly along the small of my back. Dustin grinned broadly and leaned in close enough for me to feel his breath on my cheek. Guess we didn't have enough time at the club for you to let it in on that sort of thing. I like it, kid. My cheeks were on fire as Dustin's paw slipped down to cup my backside and give it a firm squeeze. Fortunately, or not, I suppose, the clerk turned back with the popcorn and Dustin's hand slid stealthily away from my quivering rump. Here we go. Should be plenty to snack on for the two of you. Thanks. No problem. Enjoy the movie. Dustin grinned back at me, taking a moment to run a claw along the nape of my neck before grabbing the snacks and motioning to the theater. The two of us made our way through the small crowd into the theater. Dustin had always chosen the seats with the best view and led me through the crowds. Aside from the rowdy teenagers or a row or so ahead of us, it was nice. The darkened room was cozy, and knowing Dustin was right next to me was comforting. The house lights rose slightly, casting a soft glow around about the crowd. Above us, a familiar voice came over the PA. Thank you all for coming to the evening show of the 50s movie classic, The Amazonian Queen. Even in the dim light, I could see Dustin's face plastered with a grin. His hand brushed over mine for a moment, giving it a gentle squeeze as he beamed an excited smile in my direction. Accompanying the movie will be our house organist to better preserve the same experience as the movie's release. Because of this, we ask that you turn all cell phones and other electronic device. For your safety, be aware of the exits to either side of the screen in case of emergency. Now relax and enjoy one of the early cinematic classics, The Amazonian Queen. A flurry of clapping rose from the audience as the house lights dimmed once more. As the film started up on the screen, the dull glow of a phone and some scattered snickering drew my attention to the row in front of us. Of course, once the organ began to echo through the theater, my eyes snapped to the flickering screen ahead. The movie opened as a man sitting on a dock by the river, a small riverboat bobbing in the water nearby. A small riverboat bobbing in the water nearby. Okay. I don't think that's grammarly correct, but what do I know? I mispronounce everything. The shadow of a figure passes over him, and a woman in a far more elegant dress stands behind him. In a low whisper, that is Daisy Smith. She's a missionary in South America, and she was separated from the rest of the group when they discovered planes to attack a major military base held by the good guys. I guess. Despite him pretty much explaining what's on the screen already, it's kind of fun to hear him tell me about it. That, and it gives me an excuse to get closer to him. Once the woman has secured a passage on the boat and the man is unaware, she carries important information for the Allied forces. The two of them find they are extremely incapable. In a low whisper, now he's specifically in the jungle to try and stay out of the conflict. He lost his father too, the previous war, and hid away in the Amazon to avoid the draft, so he doesn't want any part of what she's doing. As the journey goes on, the two of them begin to rub each other the wrong way more frequently. He's snapping at her, and she's hiding away in the cramped cabin, trying desperately to keep her courage up. The snickering from the teenagers in front of us spiked at the sight of a woman falling face first in the dirt into the dirty cot she's been given to sleep on. Dustin's eyes narrowed at the distraction. Just ignore them, Dustin. It's not worth ruining the movie. As time passes, the two of them begin to enter a part of the jungle that's under the control of the bad guys. Avoiding gunfire shells and attempts to board the small boat, the man loses the woman when she is captured by enemy forces. In a low whisper, this is the part where he realizes that staying neutral was just letting the other side win. Losing Daisy was like losing his father all over again, and he realizes he has to do something. Alone on the boat, the man is just about to leave the checkpoint when he see him ball a fist and sock the guard right in the face. He heads deeper into the jungle to the bad guy's bunker and waits in the pouring rain for a chance to slip inside. It's at that point that the teens burst into laughter. Met with a few shushes from the other theater goers nearby, they simply mock them back and keep laughing. I tried to ignore them, coupling up more with Dustin, when a fortunate explosion on screen managed to quiet them enough to pay attention to the movie again. Setting the bunker's ammo piles on fire provides enough of a distraction for the two of them to escape. As they rush back to the boat, she notices the blood on the side of his shirt and looks up to see his pained face. In a low whisper, saving her gave him some small closure for not being old enough to save his father, and she sees that the rough and tumble man really does have a heart of gold. Back on the boat, she tends to his wounds. It's touch and go for a while as she learns to run and ship while keeping him in bed. Necessity keeps them civil, but as time passes, they find it easier and easier. With only moments left to reach the command base before the attack, the two of them do everything they can to lighten the load and speed up the ship. We watch as she throws her luggage overboard, leaving the tattered dress she wears as her only possession. In a low whisper, I love this part. Her sacrifice only further confirms his feelings towards her. He couldn't be bothered to get involved when the world was on fire around him, but her determination is enough to draw him out of that shell and drive him to action. They finally reach the command post, rushing in past the guards to relay the information in the nick of time. The commander sends his men out to arrest the traitors and guard the perimeter. In the meantime, the two of them collapse in the medical tent, their hands falling into each other's before they sleep. The teenagers are at it again, making kissy noises and laughing inappropriately. As I feel Dustin start to stand, I squeeze him in his arm and shake my head. Just ignore them. The movie is almost over. Don't let them ruin it. Begrudgingly, he settled back into his seat. With the conflict won in the region, the woman begs the man not to return to the river. He is hesitant, but a kiss on the cheek from the woman draws him close. The two of them embrace with a final passionate kiss. The movie comes to a close. Applause rolled through the theater, many people standing up in their seats. Dustin and I worked our way through the crowd and back into the lobby. The lobby is bustling as people chat around the movie plans for afterwards and just stretch after being in the theater, seating for so long. So, what do you think of the movie? It was good. I loved it. It was amazing. I mean, I can see what you mean about it crafting the cliches, but you could tell it was authentic by where it was coming from. I know, I mean, it's cliche now, but back then they really were playing with the medium. It was all new and amazing back then. I thought I didn't want you to spoil it for me, but that dialogue really added some more depth to the movie for me. Thanks for indulging me. I love talking about movies. In that one in particular, there's just so many more layers to it than you think possible. It just sucks that those kids kept acting up. It ruined the movie for me. I just didn't see the point in making a scene. They clearly weren't about to stop regardless. Believe me, I could have gotten them to shut up. I can be very persuasive. No doubt there. Nothing gets people to quiet down faster than a big, burly lion only inches away from them. To emphasize the point, he stood a hair's breadth away from me. I could feel the warmth radiating off of him, and my knees began to quiver. Pleased with my reaction, he stepped back enough to give me some breathing room and ran a paw through his mane. Standing there in silence for a moment, I finally piped up. I had a good time, Dustin. Do you want to grab some proper food, or maybe want to walk, or maybe take a walk? I think we should head back to my place. We could have a couple of drinks and maybe get to know each other better in a more intimate setting. I could feel a small ticking in the edges of my mouth as I stood up closer to him. Sounds like a great idea. Lead the way. The night was peaceful and warm, the best kind when you're walking through the dimly lit streets. We chatted for a bit about other things, his job, my lack of one. Small talk mostly, but it was nice to get to know him a little better. That's why you need to steam the milk for just a little bit. Otherwise, you've got a big clotted clump of butter and pissed off yuppie. Did that even happen? Did that ever happen to you? How do you think I know what happens? The lobby of the apartment building was completely empty, and Dusty pointed towards the elevators for the wall. After we both got in, our conversation picked back up. I know it sounds good to be home all day, but with my social butterfly brother and my lack of desire to go back to my childhood chore list, I've been bored out of my skill. I'll bet you grow up for a reason. After all, last thing you want to do is relive your childhood. Well, the mediocre parts of it anyway. The elevator dinged and we walked a few steps into the hall before he motioned towards the door. Here's my place, come on in. It was one of those simple upper floor plans, spacious with big windows to look out over the city. I could see the sparkling lights of the streets and the other building against the night sky. You could still tell it was swinging bachelor pad, with its leather couch and a lack of dining room table, but it was certainly comfortable, that's it, except for the familiar parrot seated in one of the chairs. Guess it didn't take long for you to find someone else, huh? You're one to talk, Var, particularly when you sent me a picture of you getting railed by 3 other guys. What the hell are you doing breaking into my apartment? First, I didn't break in. I still had a key. Second, it's my father's watch I lent you. I need it back. Let me, you gave it to me for our first anniversary and didn't say anything about it belonging to your dad. What the fuck, Var? I still need it back. He's been looking for it, and he'll have my hide if he thinks I lost it. It's not like you ever wore it anyway. So just wait right here, Var. I'll get your damned watch. I boxed up your stuff already. You can take it all. Leave my key and get out. Fine. No, down off my ass. Then you get back to diddling your little fuck toy here, I suppose. Dustin stepped into the bedroom, his eyes narrowed and his nostrils flaring. This guy knew all too well how to get under his fur. So you're the latest conquest, huh? Saw you talking to him at the club. Really? So on top of cheating, sleeping around, and making a public nonsense of yourself, I can add spying to the list? God, I'm mouth on you too. Probably why he's going out with you. He likes people to badmouth me when we're on a break. Wait, what's that supposed to mean? He laughed heartily and made a decisive wave in my direction. You really think that he's the first time we fought? Last time I got to throw a vase around, smash a few things up. He's a hot-headed guy. He needs excitement, and nothing gets the blood pumping like a fight. You're kidding me. You provoke him just to get him mad? Sometimes I do it just to spice things up when they're getting too routine. The makeup sex is amazing. For 2 weeks after our last breakup, we fucked 3 times a day every day. You're full of it. Being an emotionally manipulative asshole for sex doesn't work. Oh, did you have some experience with that? Maybe I should let Dustin know so he can get you out of the way faster. Doesn't matter though. We always make up, and we always get back together. Looks pretty final to me right now. That just shows what you know. Don't worry, he'll dump you at the curb when I come back and apologize. He'll give me his house key again, will ruin his sheets, and you can go back to your desperate little life alone. My hand had curled into a fist when Dustin walked back into the room. Alright, Var, here's your shit in that watch. Now there's the door. See yourself out and leave the key. With one last smirk in my direction, the parrot set the key dramatically on the coffee table and grabbed his box. Have fun, you two. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Dustin slammed the door behind the exit and slumped against it. Sorry about that. That guy is a force of nature. Can't believe we stayed together for so long. Running into Dustin's ex, even if it was the first official time, had been far from a pleasant experience. From Dustin's sagging shoulder and the distant look, I could tell it was rough on him too. I didn't mean for this to happen for a second time, but maybe we should end the night here. Arguing with Far about this bullshit was always a major mood killer, even when we were dating. I get it. It's complicated when you've been with someone for so long. Even if they do turn out to be a jerk, seen it happen to my brother, had it happen to me before. Thanks, Fabulous. I don't like it any better than you, but just talking about it is exhausting. I can go. Dustin walked from the living room to the doorway where I was gathering up in his arms and pressing his lips to mine in a tender kiss. I hope you believe me when I say this is the last thing I wanted to have happen. I had a great time tonight and I want to see you again. I want to see you too. Let's just end on this and we'll save up for the next time. I'm just glad you said there's going to be a next time. Of course, I'm not a single date kind of guy. We kissed once more in the embrace and reluctantly he released me. Somehow the goodbyes were still awkward and I found myself more than a little empty-headed when I closed the door behind me. Maybe it's just dating jitters, or maybe Var's little chat with me had more of an impact than I'd like to admit. Either way, better to support him through this. He'll deal with Var on his own terms and come out better for it. In the meantime, I had to consider what I was going to do for the rest of my evening. No one was at home when I got there. Kobe was likely still partying it up, which meant I was free to do what I wanted. Okay, so anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Amorous. If you did, make sure to leave a rating and... Jesus, I keep switching my outro. It either goes, please leave a rating, or please like, subscribe, and comment. So just like, subscribe, comment. If you enjoyed the video, do it. If you didn't enjoy the video, dislike it. I don't care. I just am here to have fun. Anyway, bye!
Hot